About 3 minutes after the hour, 65 degrees this morning, and Dr. Jonathan Douglas with us this morning. And Dr. Douglas, good morning. Good to have you with us this morning.
Glad to be here.
Hey, I know you're going to burst my bubble this morning about some of my eating habits. And I'm just watching this segment about Little Debbie snack cakes. And all this stuff is in these Little Debbie snack cakes. That's not as real as it appears to be, is it?
It doesn't even appear to be real.
Oh.
So I don't know. I mean, it's funny, we talk to people about that and they say, I'm really shocked that my Little Debbies have toxic stuff in them. And I just don't know how you could be shocked to know that. I mean, things that are in a box and can sit there for 10 years and you can eat them at 10-year point, there's something wrong with that. There really is. So it's almost all manufactured fake stuff.
So a lot of things happening and changes with the FDA. Talk about it this morning.
So we've known, I would say the people in the nutrition industry have known forever that there are toxins in our food that cause disease. And the fight is that there's a lot of subsidy money that comes from the government for the petrochemical division of the world. And that there's a chemical called benzene, which is a hydrocarbon. Benzene is C6H6. It's flammable. It is the thing that makes most fragrances and flavors that we have in our food. And we knew someone when we practiced in Washington worked at the plant. They have these tanker trucks come in. They have a special room where they have a brick floor. They put on hazmat suits. They have to pump this. They pump it into tanks, and then they produce things that go into our food and shampoo and whatever.
That's killing us.
Oh my gosh. And the people that work at that plant live to be like 45 and die of all kinds of cancers and just all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's really scary when you start looking at it from behind the scenes. And so we finally have someone at the FDA that is looking at this and saying, we know it, we know that there's subsidies, we know it, people are going to be mad at us about this, but we know this is a problem, and we just have gotten to the point where we're going to have to do something about it.
So what can we do?
Well, the government is going to ban them. It's a little disappointing to those of us that really were excited about RFK going in that it's going to take 1.5 years for them to be able to do this. I understand why, because you have to massage the right people and make sure you don't make somebody mad and all the above. And there's also a lot of manufacturing, I imagine, that's very complicated to fix because they have assembly lines that run this. And so I think he's made a compromise. We should ban it today, but he's not because there's something behind the scenes that's preventing that. But if we know that it's toxic, which we do, and we know that it causes cancer, which we know, so even if you say the government's going to do this in 1.5 years, if we all know this and it's been announced, it makes sense to me, and that's what I'm talking to our patients about, is why don't we just eliminate it right now? It's like the people that we talk to that say, gosh, I'm going to lose weight, and on January 1st, I'm going to stop eating all these things. I know they're bad for me. Why is January 1st a date that makes a difference, right?
It sounds good.
It sounds good, but I mean, so the end of next year, they're going to ban these chemicals, and then what are people going to do? They're going to say, oh, well, as of that point, I'm going to stop eating these things that I know are poison. Well, why don't we just as a group decide not to eat poison today?
So what kind of foods are affected by this?
Basically everything. If you go, we're actually planning on taking a group to supermarkets, but if you go in, I would say 90% of the food that's in the supermarket is something that I would not eat. So here we go, we got a graphic up. When you go to other countries, when you go to Europe, you don't see this, by the way. I mean, none of this stuff is available, and if it is available, it doesn't have the same ingredients. But almost everything, and you see that Mount Olive pickles, and you're going to be kind of surprised, like, why this pickle? The pickles have sodium benzoate in them, which is another industrial byproduct, and it's a preservative. And so that's why he would have that on there. But
you got those Doritos, it's got all that stuff just on the chip.
If you want to get cancer, Doritos is, I always tell patients, they say, what's the worst food? I think Doritos is probably the one.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. And you see people feeding that to their kids, they just don't know. And kids love Doritos. And Takis, it's the same kind of ingredients. And that stuff is just pure toxic sludge. When you look at Gatorade and what Gatorade used to be, the original formulation, it's nothing like what it is now. That is just
How did we get away from that?
Money. It's all money. So it's cheaper to make those petrochemical kind of flavors. So if I took something like I squeezed some oranges and had to get a concentrate, and then I had to flavor it. It's very expensive. I can take a huge tanker truck of this benzene. I can turn it into so much stuff that I can make so much Gatorade with. So I save a lot of money.
Benzene, explain that.
So benzene is a byproduct of the petroleum industry. C6H6 is a hydrocarbon. It is literally flammable, which is why when they bring it into the plant, they have to have a special procedure.
Amazing.
Flammable. And then it goes through several different chemical processes where they add and take away and all kinds of things, but they can make it smell like anything. And he'd come in sometimes and he'd smell just like a banana. I mean, just like, I swear, like a fake banana, because they were running banana that day. And that's just the way it works. And so they can make it smell, taste like anything at all. But essentially, it's still a flammable petrochemical. And you're eating that. And then when it gets in your cells, most people don't even really know what cancer is, but cancer is a mutated cell in your body.
You're serious about this?
Serious. I mean, we talk to people about it all the time because I've seen people literally die from their diet. And when you do this for 20 plus years, you get really frustrated because you know that you can help them. But there's this old saying that people will change their religion before they'll change their diet. It's the truth. It really is the truth. I mean, changing somebody's diet is hard, but their government is trying. And Lord help us if we have the government helping us with something, right? But I mean, if it's
kind of scary.
It's scary, but it's coming.
So, what else can you share this morning about this, and how can we break such age-old habits?
The best way is cold turkey. I mean, patients that come in and just decide, they learn this and say, this is stuff I do not want to put in my children. That is the best way to do it. We have parents all the time saying...
Not Heinz ketchup.
Heinz ketchup is pretty much... I don't even know what's in Heinz, but I've certainly looked... I would not eat Heinz. I know that. The thing that's so funny about all this stuff is that people get so surprised, but really it comes down to reading labels. And we talk to people about that all the time. Is that why are you surprised if the label tells you this?
We don't know what these words on these labels are.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that we can do. If you don't have it in your pantry, if you don't have a bottle of disodium inositate in your pantry, then you don't eat it.
What is that?
I don't know.
Oh.
Why would you? I mean, why would you eat it? We got yellow 5. So that's the thing. People say, this is so complicated. I don't know how to read a label. You don't have to make it complicated. If you literally don't know what it is and you wouldn't have a bottle of it in your pantry, are you going to sprinkle lactic acid on your? No, you're not going to. So if it's in there and you literally would not have it or not even know where to buy it to have it in your pantry, you shouldn't be eating it. That's the simplest rule there is. And if people start doing that, then they fix 90% of their dietary problems and a lot of health problems. We see ADHD like you wouldn't believe from eating stuff like Fritos and Doritos.
Really?
Oh my gosh, we see kids you would not, they're totally different children when their parents get them off of that stuff. 100% different.
Wow.
It's that big a deal. It makes your brain not work correctly is what it does.
Dr. Jonathon Douglas, our guest this morning, and the different colors and stuff. How does that play into this?
Well, we want things to look exciting, and I think that's the main reason those colors are in there. And again, when you travel to other places that have banned this, which most countries have banned it, they have things that have colors. I mean, you see things up here. They have colors, but they have colors. If you see a red, it says something like beet juice, right? Beet juice isn't going to get you like red number 40 that's made from petroleum. All of those things. We were talking to the Italian sculptor was just here for the Marble Festival, and we drove him back to the airport, and I said, what surprised you about being in the U.S.? And he said, you eat way too much sugar, number one. He said, all the stuff is just processed, and he said, I've never seen the things that you eat, and I would not eat those things. And so that was his main comment, is how much it surprised him that we got this like double bubble. And he said, you give it to kids, the kids are eating the stuff that just is so bad for them all the time.
Is that one reason, Dr. Douglas, why the longevity of life keeps coming down?
Yeah, we're a lot heavier and we're a lot less fit than we used to be. We really are. And you can't eat chemicals though. I mean, if you've got something that's flammable and you sit around eating it.
I mean, it doesn't make sense that we'd do that,
Well,
but we do.
Well, then why do we do it? Why do we do it? Now, this is the greatest. This is from a site called The Truth About Cancer, which I think is very valuable for people to know about. But these are things that are literally known about these and have been known. I've been teaching this for 20 years. This is not new information, right? This has been known. But like, let's say blue number 1, kidney tumors. Blue number 2, brain tumors. Red number 3, it's in all kinds of cosmetics. It causes thyroid tumors. Red number 40, which is really the worst, and that's the one that kills the kids with hyperactivity. Allergic reactions, I've seen it so many times. I've seen people develop hives from being exposed to it. Yellow number 6, we got hyperactivity. Yellow 5, hyperactivity, other behavioral issues. So people look for all these solutions that are other than I'm just putting something into me. And then here's green.
What about green?
Yeah, green. Tumors in the bladder and basically reproductive tumors. And so it makes sense because we're taking in something. And who would drink gasoline and think it's going to be good for us? And that's literally what we're doing. It's just processed gasoline.
I've accidentally tasted gasoline. It doesn't have a good taste.
No, I've had it too. Yeah, it's not great. So,
Wow.
yeah, so we're hoping that this is going to do something. That's our hope, is that.
So how can people find out more and become more active about this?
So on our Facebook page, Broadway Spinal Care, we have a group called Make Sylacauga Healthy Again. So you can't wait for this Make America Healthy Again group in Washington to spread throughout. So we created this local group, and we put all of this on there, and we're going to put more content. And really, we talk about, if you want, I mean, you don't have to watch all the videos. We're going to talk about reading labels. That's what we're going to do. Because if we can save the world with one thing, I think it's reading labels and having people educated on that, and then understanding, I do not want to eat these things. I don't want to be built out of these things.
Chris, if you go to a wide shot, and you can tell by looking at Dr. Douglas and then looking at me, who's eating the right stuff? Obviously, it's not me. And that's how we've been raised. That's how we've been taught.
When we moved to the West Coast, Tara and I have always been kind of picky eaters, right? Considered picky eaters. We went to the West Coast. It was so nice. The thing that I enjoyed the most was that we were no longer weird eaters. Everybody there thinks about, the vast majority.
Yeah.
So you go to a party and you say, I'm sorry, I don't eat that stuff. They're like, oh, okay, well, I've got this, and this doesn't have preservatives, and this doesn't have, this, and then, and it even goes so far as some people are like, hey, I got this chicken from a farm, and I know that they didn't eat corn, and I mean, it goes that far, and Tara and I think about stuff like that, and it was very comforting because for the first time, we weren't crazy people. We were amongst people who thought, I don't want this stuff in there. And people say, oh, there are no preservatives, guys. There are no colors in any of the food here today. But if you don't want to eat, we understand that too, because people are picky. And so everybody was fine with that. And it was so, so nice.
And here it's what toppings you want on it. We've got all kind of toppings.
And we go to things and people say, well, I didn't see you eating. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to hurt your feeling. Sure. It's just that I don't know where that came from. Yeah. I'm pretty certain it has toxins in it. And I'm pretty certain it has preservatives, and I just literally won't put that in me. So I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I know eating is a part of social events, but I can't eat what you have, and it's not that it doesn't taste good. I'm sure it tastes amazing. It's just I literally won't put that in my body. So,
wow.
I mean, that's the decision a lot of us crazy people make, but I think we're moving more toward having to do that because the hyperactivity is so bad, and the autism is so bad, and the cancer is so bad, and if we keep doing what we're doing, we're just all going to end up there. But there's another path, and it's really easy. We just have to make other decisions.
How did you get started in this, on this path?
Gosh, in chiropractic, Tara and I were in a PhD program at UAB in cell and molecular biology. And so when you start looking at molecular biology and how chemicals react inside the body, I'm always surprised that anybody could do something like that and not start thinking about, wow, I'm taking something into me. Because we used to eat just regular Alabama kind of stuff. Yeah. Right? And then we went to chiropractic college, and chiropractic is very much about natural remedies to things. And so they talk to you a lot about finding natural solutions to health. And so when you get around those people, you just kind of get in with the group. And then every year you have to take continuing education. We've always focused on nutrition as continuing ed because we feel like that's really the basis of helping. 80% of our problems that people come in with, we really could solve if they'd fix lifestyle, if they'd exercise and they'd eat better. But it's just a hard fix.
What's wrong with eggs?
I don't have any problem with eggs. I think people should eat. We should go back to eating the way we used to, the way my great-grandmother ate. I mean, we could eat biscuits that have a flour that's not sprayed with Roundup. That's amazing. Tara and I eat, you can get it, we import our flour from Italy. That sounds crazy, but you can buy Italian flour. You can actually get it at Walmart.
Wow.
And so Italian flour doesn't have Roundup on it. People don't react to it. It's non-GMO. It doesn't have any genetically modified things. You could eat biscuits with butter, with a pure whole buttermilk, and you'd be fine. But you just can't take Bisquick, which has all kinds of preservatives in it, and then add it to junk oils, like it has canola oil and all kinds of things. So you can eat a lot of the same things. You just have to not make it out of pure poison. That's the key to it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Dr. Jonathan Douglas, our guest this morning. Again, talk about how people can find out more and how they can contact you guys.
Yeah, we'd be happy to. So if you go to Facebook and Broadway Spinal Care, we have a group called Make Silicotta Healthy Again. We have a lot of content there. And then they could be happy at BroadwaySpinalCare.com if y'all want to learn more about it. We talk about nutrition. We used to really push nutrition when people came in. When you're a young doctor, you get excited and you're like, oh my gosh, we can save the world with this. We don't do that so much anymore. If people want it, then we talk to them about it.
Before we go, the 5 top worst foods.
5 things I would not eat,
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay. So Doritos Takis is one of those things. Little Debbie products. So I'm talking about things I see, and you know what hurts me the most is when I teach with my tennis and pickleball kids, I see them, like we have a celebration after you win something, and what people bring, and they don't know any better, right? But I mean, they bring processed cupcakes.
My grandson's one of those.
Yeah, so we bring cupcakes, from Walmart, right? That stuff's just pure utter toxin. And then energy drinks. We have seen people have strokes from energy drinks, and so.
So what do we drink? Water?
You certainly drink water. We can drink tea. There are ways to do it. And I'm going to throw this out too, like that extra sweet Milo's tea. I don't understand that at all. It doesn't necessarily have so many toxins in it, but why in the world do we need to take something like Milo's tea, which is bad for us anyway, sugar tea, and then add extra sugar to it? Now, who came up with that, and then who's buying that? That surprises. I see that at Walmart, and I think that has to just sit there and then be thrown away.
Extra death.
Sometimes they're out of it. So those are if you look at it and you think, I would have no idea how to make this at home, and I don't have the ingredients to make this, and they sound like they came from a chemistry experiment, it's going to get you eventually. It really will.
Wow. Thank you for coming by this morning.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Dr. Jonathan Douglas, our guest this morning. More Daybreak just ahead.